Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed Championship Sunday. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Show's a little bit later today.
Yes, it is.
We didn't have technical difficulties. We had analyzing issues.
A lot of
scheduling.
Yeah.
Detail-oriented items that we had a schedule. We just changed it because we felt like it was probably best.
Yeah.
But anyway, how was your Championship Sunday?
Oh, for me?
You were with me,
yeah.
So I knew how it worked out. But how was it personally for you, like feeling-wise? How do you feel about the Super Bowl?
You know, it wasn't perfect because it was perfect in the first half of the Buccaneers game, and then Brady
goes right in for the Bucks.
Yeah,
He's
because
like,
that was the one I cared about. But
yeah, the second one it was like, oh, the Bills have a chance.
Yeah, no, I mean, I gave him a fighting chance.
You
but
did. You were very loyal to the.
I mean, but did you remember what I said? I was like, I'll give him a chance in this game, but I was like, I'm not gonna bet on him,
Yeah,
but I'll give him a chance.
Yeah,
no, the Chiefs. We're the Chiefs.
How many times do we watch the Kansas City Chiefs go down by 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and still think it's 0-0?
Because they know how good their offense is, and they're like, it really doesn't matter how big of a lead
every time that happened. They were up by 9, and I'm like, they need to stop them and score again and again and again and again, and they need to be up by like 35 points.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I loved it. Having Brady and Mahomes in the Super Bowl for me is fantastic. I know it's not great for you. But no, I loved championship.
I don't mind Brady. I just could do without Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my wife. We were watching that game because it was getting a little bit testy at the end of that Bills game. If anybody continued watching after the second quarter.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of fights breaking out.
Just pushing and shoving.
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of pushing and shoving. And I think 90% of the Chiefs team is filled with a bunch of hot garbage. When it comes to personality,
very anti-Chiefs guy.
I don't like the Chiefs. Like Tyrann Mathieu, Tyreek Hill. A lot of the players don't have a good past to look back on between beating your children and breaking their arms and assaulting your wife. Andy Reid knows how to pick them, I guess.
Andy Reid doesn't. All Andy Reid cares about is cheeseburgers and
the guy that
how
drives,
to run an offense.
The guy that drives me nuts is I don't even know his first name. Sorensen, 45.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of good, but like so annoying. He trash talks the whole time. Like, you're white, go away.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, I don't like the Kansas City Chiefs at all. But I didn't like how at the end of the game. I mean, Josh Allen pulled a me. We play softball together, so.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I like sometimes get a little bit.
You only did this
excited.
once in your defense, but you did one time
throw something at somebody.
You slid in second base and threw something at somebody, and almost a fight broke out.
It was a similar way too. It wasn't like hard. It was just like a little toss.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was like Josh Allen-esque.
Yeah. I mean, if from
Josh
any
Allen
other point of view,
yeah.
it'd be like you threw something at the guy, and like
I'm on my couch.
I know from just who you are, and like watching that happen, you just were like, oh, whatever, like tossed in the air and it just hit him in the head.
But I don't know if Josh Allen. I would assume that Josh Allen did that on purpose.
He definitely did.
I saw that, and I didn't even see the first part. So I'm on my couch watching this game, pretending like it's trash WWE, and I wanted the entire Bills team to like
grab the chairs.
Grab the chairs. Start beating the crap out of
Someone walks out with
players.
a steel chair, and then they get a table.
Yeah,
Bills Mafia style.
Jeez. So that was probably the worst game of the playoffs. I would say probably.
Wow.
It was terrible
For you.
Not for me. I just mean like football wise. Like there were some blowouts, but that was like by the second quarter when the Chiefs went up by 20, or not. It wasn't up 20, 14. At that point, you were like, okay, they need multiple stops. The Chiefs can't be stopped.
I don't know if that was the worst. I mean, it wasn't like a bad football game
like
to
it
me.
wasn't. It was like by the.
I just knew the Chiefs were gonna win.
Everyone
knew the Chiefs were gonna win.
It's not gonna. But anyway, so today we're gonna talk about our top free agent running backs for the 2020 fantasy football season. We're going to try to talk about 3 or 4 in detail, maybe 5 if we get to them. And then there's some other guys that I think should be referenced, and we'll try to hit on them like really quickly, maybe. Depending on, I think these after like the top 3, it's kind of everyone in the same category.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens. But we're going to talk about the top free agent running backs. On Thursday, we're going to do 2 more rounds of our mock draft, and then we'll end it there because I don't want to be going into the 6th and 7th round and get you confused.
Nitpicking.
So anyway, we'll do that on Thursday, and the following week we'll continue with on Tuesdays we'll continue with the free agent analysis going into free agency and the drafts and all that stuff. There's no combine, so soul has been crushed. Not that I was excited to watch. I still want to see Rich Eisen run. He's got to do it.
Oh yeah,
run the 40 anyway.
Yeah. True.
Just open up. What is the Colts Stadium? I don't even know what it's called.
Lucas Oil.
Just open it up just for him.
Yeah, and just have him run with a mask on or something.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do. Before we do that, check out our website, thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter at the FFChamps, on Instagram at the Fantasy Champions. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, subscribe. It's the best way to support the show. It's the easiest way to support the show. We're not asking for money. We're not asking you to come here and donate your time to typing in all of the content I spent yesterday typing in on a spreadsheet. We're asking you to simply click the subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching, whether it's YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or any other of the podcasting platforms I just referenced. Just hit subscribe. And then leave a review, because that is the other way. That takes a little more effort. You have to sit there and type out, your faces are ugly, but I still like the content.
Yeah.
So just do it. And then share with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, as I said a second ago, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like and comment down below any of your questions, and where you think maybe some of these guys might go in free agency.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in straight in, and to our commenters in the last episode. I'll try not to drink into the microphone. I don't have my bubbly. I just have a generic Poland Springs.
Oh, poor
not
you.
Sponsored. I do have bubblies in my fridge.
Of course
I can do it for the next show.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. So should we go top to bottom here? Should we start at 5 and then go all the way up to 1 and talk about we'll start from the best one.
Okay.
So the way we're going to talk about this, I guess, is we'll talk about potential suitors. A lot of these guys are going to be in the same category in terms of where, because they're probably all going to be signed, but they're. I don't think Mark Ingram's going to get signed.
Well, if Mark Ingram gets signed,
with you.
like some of these guys at the bottom of the list here, if Mark Ingram gets signed, he's going to be like a LeSean McCoy type role with the Bucs.
Yeah, I agree with that. But regardless, some of these guys we're going to talk about more specifically their roles, because the landing spots are going to generally look the same. Yeah. So what their roles might look like on the corresponding team. So for the first one, we'll probably list like 12 teams that want a running back, and then for the rest of them, it'll probably be more positional and what a team might need. So anyway, regardless, let's start off with Aaron Jones, the hot market. I don't even know what the rumors are surrounding Aaron Jones. I don't know if there is any, but where do you think he might end up?
Yeah, there are some rumors with him. I don't think he's coming back to Green Bay. I think, if you look at their draft, they drafted Jordan Love, they drafted A.J. Dillon. They were clearly drafting for the future.
Yeah.
If he does come back, I think he's going to play pretty much the same role he did last year, maybe even a little less, because they're going to try to get A.J. Dillon involved more, I think. But he'll be fine. If he does go somewhere, I think you brought up in our bold predictions show?
Yeah.
That you brought up that Miami was you said the 49ers.
San Francisco.
You said the 49ers. Yeah. I think that would be, that would be
case scenario?
No, not for me at least, because they just use too many running backs. I do think the 49ers are going to add a running back. And if it is Aaron Jones, he won't be bad in San Francisco. He'll be very efficient if he goes to San Francisco. I just think they'll still have Mostert there. Jeff Wilson. Where is Jeff Wilson a free agent?
No idea.
They had another guy though who wasn't a free agent, and they have like 7 running
Wilson.
backs. I know Coleman and McKinnon are free agents.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Mostert is, but either way, 49ers wouldn't be bad. Miami, I don't think would be bad. I've heard a lot of people say that. The problem is Myles Gaskin will still get some work there. So again, same thing. I don't know. You think maybe the Jets, although I don't see the Jets signing a running back because of or at least the big time one, like because they made that mistake with Le'Veon Bell. I think if anything they'll probably draft one. So I don't really know what Aaron Jones. What do you think the best possible landing spot is for him? I actually do have. Let me look. My opinion.
So I mean, as of right now, I mean, obviously, I personally, to be honest with you, I think his best landing spot would be back with the Packers, but that's unlikely. So if you're talking about taking the Packers off the list, I would probably say Miami.
Okay.
Depending on what they plan on doing this. Like I see the biggest problem with Miami is that they don't even, from reports, they don't even know really what quarterback they want to go forward with. They might trade Tua for Deshaun Watson, which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But they also were considering trading Tua for a pick and drafting Justin Fields or drafting Trevor Lawrence or something like that. So
they won't be able to draft Lawrence.
No, they probably won't be able to draft Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that though.
But that the Jets would be like, "Oh, Darnold's our guy. We don't want to draft with the second pick." So Rick's right. It would be taking a step back.
Unless it's Deshaun Watson. That's the only one where it's like, okay.
If it's Tua and they stay the same, I would say that it's most likely going to be Miami that would be the best landing spot for him.
Yep.
I think anywhere he goes is most likely going, because he's going to get paid. This is the last running back from that 2017 draft class that has not gotten cheddar.
Is it 17 or 16?
It's 17.
Okay,
he was
17,
in the same class as McCaffrey, correct?
I think so.
So yeah, I think he's going to sign a big contract, which means they're probably going to use him.
Yeah.
Depending on, I think Big Ben might be back, so Steelers might not be a bad location. Like he could play
the Steelers
Le'Veon Bell role. But outside of that, I don't see
the only other one that I wouldn't mind would be the Cardinals. I think if he goes to the Cardinals, that's not a bad fit. If Kenyon Drake walks,
they drive me nuts though. See, the big thing is that Jones has shown that he doesn't necessarily need a full-time workload. Like he's been a top 5 running back on a team in an RBBC.
Where he gets like 14 carries a game.
The problem is if he goes to a team like Arizona, I think he's probably, you would agree that he's probably would be significantly better than Kenyon Drake.
Probably,
would you say that? Yeah. So if he gets red zone work, I mean, that's the bulk of what Aaron Jones does. And it really, for me and my perspective on him next year going into 2020, like he'll probably be on our mock draft show, 3rd round, 4th round.
Right.
Depending on location, it's going to be tough to really look at Aaron Jones and say, oh, you know what? He's going to be really good next year. Because they honestly don't. He literally could get no money in free agency and just crawl back to the Packers.
Right.
And be a part of a 3-head
True.
rotation, and I don't know. It would be gross, but Packers have a lot of things to look at. So obviously, I think we're pretty clear that the Dolphins, the Cardinals,
and I think
Steelers,
for what
who else
for
Miami are the 4 spots that need running back. I would say the 49ers too,
the Jets,
and the Jets.
I will say with Aaron Jones when it comes to situation, like I think the Cardinals already have Chase Edmonds. I'm not sure they want a guy like Aaron Jones who obviously can do everything, but I think one of the things that makes Aaron Jones special is his pass catching ability.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like I feel like Arizona might try to get like a bigger guy, like maybe Najee Harris in the draft.
Just kick the camera. Goodness gracious.
Or maybe even like a Chris Carson or someone just to compliment.
Yeah.
Chase Edmonds. So when it comes to Aaron Jones, I think the fit for me that I see is Miami too. But again, I feel like him and Myles Gaskin are kind of similar. I mean, I think Aaron Jones might be a little bit bigger than Myles Gaskin, but they do play similar.
Assuming that Jones is a 3rd round pick in redraft drafts, maybe 4th round between those 2 rounds. In order for him, let's just say for sake of argument, 3rd round, for him to stay in the 3rd round as a draft pick at the running back position, what teams do you want him to go to?
Steelers, if they let James Conner go, because I think he can play a Le'Veon Bell role.
I would say Steelers, Cardinals, and Packers, and Miami.
Yeah, even the Jets.
If he went to the Jets, I would be a little bit.
He would get the most work there, but
maybe.
And never mind. I was gonna say,
I don't know who's the coach. It's Robert. I don't even know.
The San Francisco's defensive coordinator. But it's all the San Francisco coaching staff. He brought a lot of guys from San Francisco.
That's going to be a rotation, my friend.
True, but it's going to be a very run-friendly offense.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So,
is there any more points you want to make on Aaron Jones?
No. Do you have an absolute favorite? Because I've been kind of debating in my head. I keep saying, like, I said Arizona, and then I said I'm going to say Pittsburgh. I think assuming he doesn't go back to the Packers, I'd say Pittsburgh. Are you still Miami?
I would say, knowing Mike Tomlin and how he runs his offense, yeah, Pittsburgh's probably the best shot. Because James Conner would be gone, and the two guys that they drafted the last couple of years just aren't it.
Right.
So I would think that would be a place where they could use him like Le'Veon Bell, which, I mean, Aaron Jones is already ridiculous. Like, honestly, if he went to Pittsburgh, I'd probably think he would easy lock to be a top 5 running back.
Top 5?
Yeah, he might even jump into that second round of.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
he gets the work, and if he's in a good offense, I mean, you look at last year. This year he had 0.98 fantasy points per opportunity. Last year he had 1.0. The year before that he had 1. So I mean, Aaron Jones is a very good running back in the NFL. He was top 5 this year.
Yeah,
in a system that didn't give him the ball very much.
Got a lot of touchdowns.
He got a lot of touchdowns, but he had a total of I think it was 200, and I guess he touched the ball a lot. 280 touches, which is right where you need to be in terms of being a workhorse. But he won't have somebody else around him. Like, remember when Bell's getting 320?
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
that's what they want Connor to be, but Connor gets hurt every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would agree with Steelers, but Packers would probably be
correct.
Knowing the situation, knowing what you're getting.
Right. That
would be a place for me that would keep him in that third round area. So let's talk about the next guy, Kenyon Drake. He's like maybe the grossest player that I've ever
liked.
Yeah, I was in love with him in the offseason. He's still not, like, he did not finish bad.
But it was just
very
gross season.
I wish I could find it, but he was the running back.
He was like
13,
RB13, yeah, something like that.
He had 0.7 fantasy points per opportunity this year, which went against the grain of what he did. A lot of people's concern coming into the season with Kenyon Drake was they had not seen him under a full workload in any circumstance. And I would say that he didn't even get, like, he had 270 total touches. Or not even that, 260 touches this year, which is not bad. That's kind of what we projected. But what he did with those touches was not very good.
Yeah, he was just inefficient on the ground, and he didn't have a ton of targets either.
He had 4. He's number 4 in the NFL in red zone touches, and it was gross. But anyway, I think the same for him. Do you think teams that bring him in would be looking at him in a workhorse?
So this is a problem. I think after Aaron Jones, it's hard to say with any of these guys.
Okay.
I think the only team that I can definitively say that is the Jets. I think if the Jets brought in Kenyon Drake, he would be a workhorse.
Back to the AFC East.
Because, they don't have – who's their second running back? It's the rookie that they had. Because Frank Gore is not coming back. So Kenyon Drake would probably be the clear workhorse there. I think Arizona, if he goes back, he's going to be just a similar role, which is fine.
Yeah, you draft him as an RB2.
Like, let's say he goes to –
what are the chances that happens? Goes back to Arizona.
I'd say under 50.
Okay.
I don't think it's – I think Arizona probably wants to go draft a running back, or they'll sign someone cheap. I don't know if they want to spend the money on Drake. I mean, maybe they do. I could be wrong. But, I think San Francisco would be gross. Miami would be fine, but is he workhorse, or is he going to split with Myles Gaskin?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think Myles Gaskin would probably be.
It would be a split.
It would be a split, right?
And I don't think he would go to Pittsburgh.
Oh, what's another team that we didn't talk about even with Aaron Jones? Is the Falcons. If they let Todd Gurley go they have a lot of interest in him running back. Because Brian Hill's their starter right now. And if they draft a quarterback, which I don't know if they will, but so Drake on the Falcons, I actually wouldn't mind. I think that's a good fit.
Still can't run the football.
Still can't. Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't change anything that he had wrong with him.
Right, exactly. But that's why I like him though, because he'd be about in the same spot. So I think those are the best spots for me because Like if he goes to the Steelers, I don't think he's quite the type of running back the Steelers are looking for. But I mean, that would work.
I think his role at this point in his career, what is he, 27? Could be wrong
He's like
about
26, 27.
Yeah,
he's in that range. All these guys are like around the same age.
Yeah, 27. So I think at this point in his career, and even like teams just saw Kenyon Drake on a full workload.
Yep.
And he didn't reach 1,000 yards
Correct.
rushing. He barely had 10 touchdowns on the season. He's an okay pass catching running back. I will take back a lot of the takes that I had on him last year because I know how to develop myself as a fantasy football analyst.
It's snowing outside.
It is snowing outside, my friends. So we keep talking about the weather. Last show I was talking about the dark clouds, and now it's snowing. Interesting. So yeah, I think for me personally, I think Drake is probably going to be a supplementary back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think wherever he goes, the only spot I think is the Jets.
Now,
I could really see him close to workhorse.
A team. Name a team in the NFL that currently has a running back, but loves RBBCs and needs to add another running back to complement that everyone would be pissed about Kenyon Drake going to.
Chargers, maybe. They use Kalen Ballage, like
That's
replace
a good one.
Kalen Ballage.
I was going to say Drake. Indianapolis.
Oh, that would be awful.
Or I could see
that would be like the worst.
I could see with Mark Ingram leaving Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a gross one, but that one is very realistic too.
It's disgusting.
I mean, if the Broncos let Lindsay go, they might add a running back.
I think they actually liked running with Melvin Gordon on the season, but
they do. But I think
they're more likely to bring in a vet like a Mark Ingram or something like that.
Fair.
To supplement.
Or they draft one.
It's
instead like the next replacement.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for Kenyon Drake, as far as like his draft stock, everything's tied to it. Like with Aaron Jones, I think if you were doing a startup and it was before free agency, like the free agency happens after the draft, or is that in the NBA? I never remember. I think it's before the draft.
Free agency, I believe, is before the NFL draft.
If you were a psychopath and you were going to do a startup draft for your dynasty leagues before the NFL draft occurred and before free agency,
a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I mean, those are all different, but Kenyon Drake would not be very high on the list.
It's a team
targets for running backs.
Yes, true. If
like I want to get Kenyon Drake in the 5th round,
it's a gross.
You're stupid.
It's a gross one, but it's exactly the type of running back that they would want the Saints to go with Kamara.
That is very true.
If they let Murray go, or he's like
Murray's on the line. He's locked in, right?
I think so, but he's old, dude. He's like 32, 30. He's one of the oldest guys in the league.
Yeah.
He's like Mark Ingram's age, so they might want to bring in someone else, but plays a similar role to Latavius Murray.
Yeah. New England, too.
Oh, dude, the Lions. Imagine.
Oh, I doubt it. It depends on the coach, I think, for them.
Dan Campbell.
Seattle, too.
It's about honor, man.
It's about respect. If Seattle chooses to move on from Chris Carson, they might be in the market for another running back.
I mean, there's a ton of teams, but none of them are workhorse.
Yeah, Houston
absolutely
too.
None of them with Kenyon Drake.
You have David Johnson, but they might want a supplementary guy. They still got Duke, right?
Yeah, I think Houston, if they're going to add a running back, they're probably going to draft one.
They got other fish to fry, though.
Right.
I would assume they're not running out to add a running back right now. But yeah, so I think anywhere Kenyon Drake goes, like Rick said, if it's the Jets, it might be in a capacity that's full time. I think I actually could see him going to San Francisco. That could be a landing spot.
Every one of these guys.
It's a rotational. It's a rotational running back.
Yep.
Or, I think it's a rotational backfield, I should say. So, which would work perfectly with what Drake does. But as far as fantasy value for Kenyon Drake, I think there's not much. Like if you're in a dynasty league,
I don't think
try to trade him now before his value is going to crap the bed. It's already not good right now, but it is going to drop as soon as he signs with the team.
If he signs with like the Saints, for example.
Yeah, it'll be like, what the crap are they doing? So I have no idea where Drake's going to go. I don't even know what the rumors are. But let's move on to number 3. We just referenced him, Chris Carson.
I think he's... Yeah, go ahead.
Quickly on the next 2 guys. But, so Chris Carson is, I think this is more likely for him to stay in Seattle.
Agreed, yeah, I do.
I think he's going to resign. So I don't think that we need to really break
down
he doesn't, where he's going to go, but...
I think he's kind of a similar type of free agent as Kenyon Drake. I think wherever he goes, other than the Jets, they're probably going to want to use him as a 1-2 punch with a pass catching running back, a sort of like smaller pass catching guy.
Yeah.
I think teams that are interested in Drake are going to be the same teams.
He actually would be a good workhorse, but he just can't.
He would. He can't stay healthy though, and and the way the league is like running backs are really only starters for like 4 or 5 years unless your name is like McCaffrey, Barkley. You have to be like one of those elite guys and stay being that elite guy like Dalvin Cook, Kamara, like those top like 5 or 6 guys. So, I don't know with Chris Carson. Like I said, I think he's going to be a similar. Teams that are interested in Drake
quickly though
are going to be interested in Carson.
Favorite landing spot for Chris Carson if he does leave Seattle?
Everything's going to be the Jets for me pretty much just because of workhorse. But so ignoring the Jets, I think he fits. And I'll have to look real quick. I think he fits really well with, I think Miami actually, because of how they're going to use Gaskin, if they continue to use him.
Yeah, the pass catching
with the pass catching, I think he'll
worst case scenario.
You know what the Dolphins signed Jordan Howard to be?
Yeah.
He'll be he'll be the Jordan Howard role, but actually much better. Like he'll get the goal line work, and then he'll also get like his like 12 to 13 like carries.
Strictly fantasy though.
I see. That's the thing, though. I don't think there's really any like if he doesn't stay in Seattle.
Would be it. Yeah,
there's not there. It's looking like again. I think the Jets.
All right, then worst case.
Really, I mean, a lot of places.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. Well, I mean, depends how they feel about Leonard Gordon.
That's true. They love him. They love him.
Yeah. Worst case. Oh man! Imagine the Packers sign another running back to like replace Aaron Jones. They wouldn't do that. I think the Ravens would probably be the worst case to kind of replace him as a Mark Ingram.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty valid location. I don't think he leaves Seattle. I think Seattle keeps.
I don't either.
On hand. Next guy is gross, but it's Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
I kind of want to take him off the list because I don't even think I think James Conner deserves to be here.
Okay.
To be honest with you, but anyway. Fournette, I think will probably.
I think he's staying.
Tampa. I think he stays in Tampa. That would probably be. But anywhere he goes, he's not a workhorse anymore. He's going to be a supplementary back.
Right,
his role is not in that capacity anymore. He did have some decent games fantasy wise this year with Tampa.
If he stays in Tampa, he's going to be like some weeks he will be a workhorse, and then some weeks it'll be Ronald Jones because Bruce Arians loves him. Like, look at the play; he's been the workhorse in the playoffs. Ronald Jones is getting like 6 carries a game.
It's unfortunate because Ronald Jones is actually good at football.
I know.
Leonard Fournette kind of isn't.
Well, I think Ronald Jones is better than Fournette.
Yes.
At this point,
that's what I meant to say. I don't. I take things to extremes sometimes.
Fournette has had a really good he was like that spin move. Where he got into like the 20-yard touchdown.
Is this
like prime
Fournette from college?
Yeah. But he has been pretty good. He's had like 1 or 2 big drops. But he's been fine. And I think if he leaves Tampa, like you said, he's not going to be a workhorse. Mm-hmm. Like he'll go somewhere maybe like a young running back where he can be like the veteran presence and ruin his fantasy value.
Baltimore.
Everywhere is Baltimore.
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere with players named Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
See, he's someone I could see the Colts grabbing.
Yeah,
it would just be like totally.
But
annoying.
I think there is not a team in the league, maybe the New York Jets.
See, I don't think the Jets.
Taking the Jets completely out of the conversation because the Jets would be a team that would sign any of these top 5 running backs and have them as a workhorse. But yeah, Fournette to me is kind of in the. I hate to say this because I do like Fournette a lot better than Le'Veon Bell, but he's kind of in the same breath as Le'Veon Bell at this point.
He is.
He's not going to get a workhorse role. He's not going to be put in that capacity.
I do think Fournette is much better than Bell at this point in their careers. But
yes, I agree with that. But I just don't think he's going to. I don't think people looked at him this year and went, "Oh my God, he's going to be. He's a great guy to give the ball 3 downs to." Number 5 is Todd Gurley.
See,
and then we'll quickly go through the next guys. But yeah, he's kind of in the same.
He's not going to be a workhorse wherever he goes. This was his last year being that guy, and in the second half of the season, they kind of benched him. So in Atlanta,
yeah.
So it's kind of like
he's done. I love Todd Gurley though.
Could you see him going back to like the Rams as like a 3rd down guy?
I don't think he would go back to.
Yeah, I don't think he would either.
I think he's going to try to find a. He's going to try to find a spot where he can, like, be a workhorse.
Good luck.
But I don't. Yeah, it's about as good a chance as Le'Veon Bell. I actually think Bell might find a location where he can.
You think? Oh, what are we talking about? Le'Veon Bell now?
No.
Oh.
I was gonna reference. I think Bell actually has a chance to get a workhorse role somewhere.
That'd be so. I don't think so. He's getting benched on
Over
the
Todd
Chiefs
Gurley,
now.
over Todd Gurley's kneecaps.
They're playing Darrell Williams over Le'Veon Bell.
That's
in the
true.
playoffs.
But anyway, yeah, I don't think Todd Gurley. All the places that we reference, I think this is it for Todd Gurley. I think there's going to be some people in fantasy drafts that are like, oh, 6th round, 7th round, that's a value, and I'm just not in on that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no. I'm done with Gurley.
I can't wait for Todd Gurley to end up being a 6th round pick and everyone wastes
Any
their money.
chance he stays in Atlanta?
I think he might stay in Atlanta.
Okay.
That might be. It could happen, but
Sure.
they brought him in just to like grunt.
Yeah,
I don't think they outright benched him. I think they were just like, we're toast anyway, so there's no
Sure.
reason to keep going. But they weren't. That's no reason to keep Gurley healthy anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe Gurley was like, hey, shut me down.
I think there's a chance
Don't wanna
Gurley
get
comes
hurt.
back.
Yeah.
Especially if he's willing to take like a cheap deal. But it might only be for like another 1-year deal, and then he's done after that. So
Yeah.
it's limited time on Gurley.
Yeah, so as far as Todd Gurley is concerned, it will end up being in a similar role to Bell and Fournette, I would think.
Yeah.
And then you have Philip Lindsay. He would just be. I could see New England signing a guy like this.
Yep.
He would be even San Francisco. He kind of fits
He
the
actually,
bill.
for
Undrafted
me,
running
he's
back.
the guy that San Francisco could target.
So
It's a very
he-
San Francisco type running back.
those are some landing spots, but he is once again another guy that
or Denver again.
he has name. And there's like a person in our league that loves Philip Lindsay. Like picked him up. Yeah, two teams in our league who love Philip Lindsay. I think he actually might end up like a 9th, 10th round pick.
Yep.
And if you like Philip Lindsay in that aspect, we have to see landing spot. We have to see what situation he's going to be, how much opportunity he might get, and all of that stuff to see. He might even re-sign with Denver, but I don't think, to me personally, he's not a guy. Like, I'm not going to look at Philip Lindsay and go, okay, breakout running back. You know what I mean?
You think the Titans sign one of these guys at the end here just to be a change of pace for Derrick Henry and give him like some rest?
No. I think they like the other guy they drafted. What's his name? I'd not even try. Don't waste our time.
I literally drafted him too in Dynasty, and I don't even remember his name.
Bell, we just kind of talked about a little bit. I like I said, I think he's in that same breath as Fournette Gurley, where he probably he shouldn't get a workhorse role, but he's Le'Veon Bell, so he might.
Oh, you know what team we haven't brought up that a lot of people think they're going to add a running back, but it's a very gross situation? The Buffalo Bills.
Oh my
There's
God, I
a
forgot
lot
about
of
the
teams.
Bills.
Yeah, or a lot of rumors
people,
about the Bills. If they sign a running back, I think it's going to be like,
It'll be Mark Ingram or something like that. No,
I don't know. Like, do they want like a workhorse? They have Singletary is already the pass catching guy, and then Moss is like the goal line guy.
The reason why
so-
I don't put him in my mind is because I think they might draft another running back,
Yeah, they might.
which is gross because
That is
they
gross.
drafted Singletary. That'll be third year in a row you draft a running back.
I think Fournette would actually be a good fit with Buffalo
yeah,
as
I
like
would
the
agree.
veteran presence.
I think Singletary.
Even Gurley.
Singletary's done. I think Zach Moss, they wanted to be something, but he's
okay. He's not like the
injury-prone.
worst.
I don't think he's bad. He can't do anything besides be a brick. You know what I'm saying though? Like you hand it off to him up the middle.
Yeah, no.
You know, that's the only thing Zach Moss can do for that football
Right.
team. And like they had the
doesn't seem
worst
like a
rushing
workhorse.
attack. They were trying against the Chiefs so hard to run the football early, and it did not work.
Right. Zach
They
Moss
need a
is
running
out.
back. They need a running back.
Yeah.
So I don't like. I could actually sit. And we didn't talk
But it's
about any of
gross
this.
though.
But, my God, I would sweat if Aaron Jones went there. I would be very, very excited.
It's gonna be like the same as the Packers though.
Yeah.
Like Devin Singletary will play the Jamal
agree.
Williams role.
I agree, but it would be so much better than having the crap that team had this year
True.
at the
Yeah.
running back position. Anyway, yeah, Le'Veon Bell, I don't see having any presence really this offseason. I think some of these guys, Bell
is washed to me. I don't like.
I would agree with
And
that.
you've
but
been saying
I
this
think
for
their
like a year,
careers
but-
might be ended just because of how deep this free agency is at the running back position.
Correct.
And how
Teams are gonna draft some
teams
guys.
are going to draft guys.
Like
So it's
Najee Harris and Travis Etienne will be, if not starters, they're going to be like, at worst, a complimentary guy.
yeah.
So those are two spots right there. And there's not a lot of teams.
There's other options. So for teams besides the next like 4 guys we're going to talk about.
Correct.
Marlon Mack tore. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Marlon Mack just resigns with Indianapolis.
I think Marlon Mack, because people have kind of forgotten about him, I think he might be better at this point in his career than Bell.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, maybe even Lindsay too.
But I don't think people are going to sign him to be
or Gurley. Yeah, no,
like he had his opportunities with Indianapolis to be the workhorse running back.
Right.
Injuries stopped this year from him.
He's not going to be a
working
workhorse.
with right. But last year, like he had a shot to be a workhorse running back, and he just wasn't that.
Do you think he goes to? He's another guy that's San Francisco or New England.
Another New England. I don't think they need to sign another running back. To be honest with
New
you.
England?
Patriots, yeah, but
No, they don't.
They will. And then Mark Ingram, me and Rick talked about. He's going to be very similar to a Frank Gore type role.
Yes.
Wherever Adam Gase goes, Frank Gore /
Seattle.
Mark Ingram will follow.
Actually, if Chris Carson goes, I feel like Seattle is a very Mark Ingram team.
I have a feeling that Mark Ingram will probably not sign with a team until like a couple weeks into the season.
Someone gets hurt.
Yeah,
like a Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, I think that he's not like it took Freeman that long, and he actually has something left in him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Mark.
I was
Ingram
saying there could be like there's a chance Mark Ingram and Bell are on.
But
NFL
this is the
teams.
sad part is that he's not like these guys. These guys
like
there's
Lindsay.
So many running backs available. These guys are just not going to get signed.
But there's some of these guys like Lindsay will be on an NFL team just because he plays a role.
Thank you, Mark Ingram, for all your fantasy.
I think Marlon Mack will be on a team because he plays a role. But yeah,
but it's over. And then the final guy, he does not fit in the group that we just talked about, and I really don't know what group to put him in. It's James Conner. This is the one where I kind of thought James Conner might. He could be in that conversation of top 5, like free agent running backs. Yeah. And for me personally, I between the injuries and the lack of opportunity filled roles in the NFL, I don't believe James Conner will be a workhorse running back. I still think he provides some fantasy floor and ceiling, depending on where he signs. Like I could see him signing with a Jets or a Dolphins, and actually getting like a lot of work there and providing like actual fantasy production, but I don't really believe that he has the ability to be a workhorse running back in the NFL because of injuries and other things. And I think there's other guys here like Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Chris Carson, and if you're looking for like secondary guys to supplement, Leonard Fournette, Marlon Mack and others who can kind of take those roles. And so I feel like James Conner is kind of left in this like limbo state where he could be a workhorse, but he also could be a secondary guy, and there's guys to fill those roles, and you don't really have to pay James Conner.
Similar to Marlon Mack, I think James Conner's had his time, had his opportunity to be the workhorse. I think he's probably not going to be, but he's still like I think he has more left in the tank than like Mark Ingram, Le'Veon Bell. I think you can make the argument that he's better than Marlon Mack or Philip Lindsay. So he's still got something left in the tank. I just don't think he's going to be a workhorse.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all we have for running backs. If there's any other running backs we didn't talk about, we're going to do probably another show on this as we get closer to the season, as we have more rumors and ideas and concepts as to what might happen for some of these guys. But yeah, that's going to kind of
landing spots. That's what I want to. Yeah. I want to know already.
Landing. I know it's ridiculous. It takes so long, and then like the Super Bowl hasn't even happened. We're like,
I know we're already like I'm already in like draft mode.
Yeah, I'm like I want to start. I've been wanting to do like 20 startups. It's the last week. I was like when I first started dynasty fantasy football, I was like, I really want to do some orphans. Try to rebuild some. No, that's not fun. No one trades.
True.
Only like 20% of your draft picks hit, and it's just gross. Hey. I'm rebuilding a team, and it's like the worst experience of my life because no one trades.
That's just our league that we're in.
Dude. Yeah, that is very true.
I actually have something to tell you about after the show.
Okay. Well, that's a good cue to end it. Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. A lot of information wrapped up into a bow there, shoving it down your throat, like spraying your mouth with a fire hose of information. So be sure to listen to us on Thursday. We got mock draft. Talk to you then.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.